Hello and welcome, collectors. Today we are looking at some new news from the recent week. We're also looking at some new pickups and what's happening in the collecting world. So thanks for joining us today. We're looking at the Power Rangers. Now this is Power Rangers Turbo's first figure in the Lightning Collection series. I'm not including Centurion or Phantom Ranger, but today we are looking at the new release. Now on Monday they had Power Rangers 30. They've been doing these streams where they release and announce new figures. And so the announcement this week, we had a couple, including this Red Ranger Turbo figure. Now the big thing about this one, like I said, the first actual figure from Turbo that we're getting. This is in without the helmet. We're looking at an early October release date. Obviously they could happen sooner. Some do, some don't. But overall, $24.99, more than I want, but it definitely not as bad as some of those figure lines currently. It comes with some cool accessories, looks like, as the usual lightning energy rays going on. But if you don't remember, Power Rangers Turbo came after Mighty Morphin and Zeo. Then we had the Turbo, and then we went in space. And then it went onward and upward. However, space was when I kind of stopped. However, the Turbo, it's a fun time. So that was the biggest, I feel like, the most groundbreaking release there. We also saw some Lightspeed Rescue, which I'm not really into, some other stuff as well. Another announcement they made was that they are continuing with their remastered line. Most recently, we saw Rita Repulsa, and we also saw a Minotaur. I'm most excited, though, about that Rita Repulsa. Now, with that Rita Repulsa, the only way to get it currently was to get it in a 2-pack with Lord Zed. For me, I found that around $100 was the cheapest. I didn't want to pay that. I already got a Lord Zed individually. So this is going to be a cool way for collectors to have access to Rita there with that lovely face, as you can see. She's also got other better faces, but that's her back there. Has the nice, her staff. So some cool accessories. Rita Repulsa there. Glad to see we get another chance at her. They also had other things like the Pink Ranger, the Green Ranger, and the Black Ranger, which have not been put up for pre-order yet. But Rita and the Minotaur are available. Also, early October is their estimated time. But you can probably expect to see the other ones in the near future. We also saw recently, and I just got today, these remastered. So we're going to look at this remastered Blue Ranger. There's also the Yellow Ranger, but I already had a Yellow Ranger, and this was cheaper than getting the previous one. So I'm interested to see how this turns out. I heard they might have pinless joints, so that'll be cool to see. Any other additions too? I also like this head sculpt. It's the cool thing about remasters. You get a chance at different head sculpts, which I appreciate. It's not just the same exact thing. So it's kind of a nifty little add-on they have for that. So overall, those new Power Ranger Lightning Collection reveals, some cool stuff they have for us. And I am excited to see what they still have to put out. I'm excited to see more Zeo. More Turbo. Most of the Zeo out. It would be cool to see a Pink Ranger solo Zeo. Maybe some of the other Zeo Rangers as well. But we'll see what happens. We also had recently some big developments in the WCW Nitro stage entrance. Now, with this, if you've been following this saga, you know that Mattel Creations announced this and released it, and they did not meet a certain amount of backers at a certain time, the 5,000 initial. They were not going to include this Hulk Hogan figure they had. Now, they said everyone would get it, whether you did it before the time or you did it after the time they gave. If they made by a certain date these 5,000, everyone would get Hogan. Now, you got to think that it comes from a shipping standpoint. I know that last time they had some issues by doing that. The Savage Extra, that was additional shipping they had to do because they couldn't do it in every single pack because they had to decide who did it before and after. So I think it really had to do with shipping issues and costs with that. But by doing that, they didn't make people want to order. So we saw some differences here then. So with this Nitro stage, you still have a chance. You do to get that Hogan. That's pretty much the same as the one from Target currently in stores. But you do have a chance of that still. We see here, currently we are at 2,095 backers. Earlier today was 2,090 when I looked. So go team, we're moving on there. 41% out of the 5,000 we're looking for. Now, if it does make the 5,000, no matter what, we're going to get Rey Mysterio in WCW, and also a singlet Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. Now, recently they did release, or they did announce with their Legends deal that made us think that we'll probably get more Scott Steiner. So this is the first of many, but still a really cool part that we really haven't seen much of in figure form, at least through Mattel here, without him being on the Legends deal as of late. WCW Ray, we've had a few of those. There's a few better ones, but those are 2 figures are better than none for that initial purchase there. So no matter what, as long as it makes 5,000 backers, you will get those 2. Now, if it hits 7,000, you get DDP. It's me. We also have 9,000, you get Warrior. Not sure who all's excited about that, but if you are, you hit 9,000, you get it. And then 11,000, you may have a chance to get that Hulk Hogan. It'd be interesting. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think it could hit the 5,000. I also could not. So I would be shocked if it managed to hit 11,000, but if it does, that's great. I think that by supporting this, people are showing them that we want these bigger things. And I think we do. I think as a community, we want these bigger items that can be showpieces, that are things you would not be able to get in the stores. That being said, I am in no way advocating people buying this if they cannot afford it. Please feed your family and then figure this out. Pay your bills. And then if you have extra room, you can get this if you want. If you don't want it, don't get it. I'm not going to push it. I'm not getting it myself. I think that it just doesn't do anything for me. Give me a SmackDown fist. If you give me maybe a 04 Raw entrance, yeah, I'm into that. That would be really cool. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. I think that there's opportunity. I know that if we do make this happen, that there will be more options in the future. So I don't think anything will go wrong. Nothing bad will happen if it does go. However, if it doesn't go, I'm worried we might not get the opportunity to see. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. Also from the 90s, if you remember from the 90s, you saw potentially the Biker Mice from Mars. Now, this is a series much like Ninja Turtles and Street Sharks. This series had animals in human forms. And so this one, they were riding bikes. Unlike the Street Sharks, which were on skateboards and such. And the Teenage Ninja Turtles, who were ninjas. These guys' thing was that they were from Mars and they rode motorcycles. So that was their thing. But if you were a fan, then Nacelle, a smaller company, just recently announced the pre-order is alive for these. Now it's 107.97 individually. If you're interested, for a pack, the 3-pack, all 3. If you're a big Biker Mice fan, you might as well get all 3 if you want those and can afford them. Otherwise, they're $35.99 a piece. Now, I was not a huge Biker Mice fan. I don't remember ever watching the show, but I do remember I did have the gray one over there on the side. I remember I owned him, and that was really cool. He had like a little blaster thing up here, and it would shoot rockets out, or it looked like it anyways. So that was kind of cool. So if you're interested in that, that is available. I recommend taking a look at it if you're into that. So that's I'm interested to see what other things we get. Maybe VR Troopers. Potentially, but we see other companies, but then smaller companies releasing these figures. I think it's an interesting place where we can go with this. Speaking of more interesting avenues, recently, if you haven't seen it, if you're a Beast Wars fan, Takara Tomy is, from my understanding, they were ones releasing figures of the Beast Wars elsewhere. Now, with this, the cool things about these is these are not the ones we're used to. These are not the Generations ones. These are going to be different. Now, for these, we see figures such as, for this most recent release, we had Scorponok and we had Rhinox. So Scorponok and Rhinox are 2 big characters. We have one here, Predacon here, one Maximal. Now, the big thing I noticed first was the size difference. If you saw before this, we did have the Megatron and Optimal Prime options, and those were, the scale was different. And that was really cool, is because a lot of times we don't see that scale. However, that does sometimes make the price go up. So here between these 2, while that scale is interesting, it makes the price go up a little bit, but really cool that it's the scale. They do transform, as you can see here. $69.99 price point, though. Available at the end of December of this year. So if you're interested in that, I do recommend you looking into it at least. If you're a Transformers fan, I have not yet stepped into this. I'm worried about it because I'm going to go all in because these are really cool. They are really based on the series. They got everything going for them, so I'm excited to see where they go here. So I may end up getting into that, but I'll let you know. Go ahead and comment below. Have you gotten those Beast Wars figures? Have you had them before? Let me know what you think of these. These are designed based on the deco and of the Takara Tomy figures. So let me know. Do you like these ones? Are you going to stick with your generations or your retro ones? What do you think? Or maybe your vintage one if you're fancy and have the vintage ones. And if so, I'm jealous. But those are that's it for the news this week. One thing I do want to talk about is our weekly editions. Now, this is where the time of the show where we show off what we've gotten this week. Kind of a slow week for me, but exciting week. So I recently acquired this. Actually, just came in the mail today. So I'm going to open it for you, and we're going to take a look at what we think about this. So as you notice, the first thing I notice is that this is windowless packaging. And recently, if you do not hear, Hasbro has announced that they will not be doing these going forward. I think they're going to be phasing them out soon. Obviously, the ones that have been designed and released, those will stay plastic free, but they're going to be using a better for the environment plastic. So we are going to take a look at this, and this is my remastered. Now, like I said, this is my first remastered figure that I have. I've had many, maybe too many, Lightning Collection figures in the past, but I am excited to see what exactly this will entail. So I've got this here. This is what it looks like out of the box. Honestly, the box is so huge. That's my first thought is, why is this such a big box for this little stuff? I guess, I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so maybe there's a reason, but oh well, this is what we have. So this little paper, which I don't hate. Sometimes plastic, I feel like it's so hard to get out of, and you're worried about messing with the paint. But we have the head here for the Blue Ranger. Now, all these extra things as well. Oh, geez, all coming out of here. So be careful bringing it out because you have, oh, this is really cool. So you might not be able to see it, but we have the Morpher here. We have this. It has two additional pairs of hands. One thing I noted when I was going to purchase this is it didn't have the glasses. And I like the Billy I remember, he wasn't I feel like in the first couple of seasons, he was a little bit of a, I won't say nerd, but a little bit of a nerd. Kind of a wimp at times. But over the series, he kind of he gained more confidence and became a bigger character, a more dynamic character. So I liked when they had this, he didn't have glasses, but it looks like they have glasses for him. So that's cool. I'm excited for this. So this, I just got it out of the package as I was talking because I couldn't wait. So overall, this figure is really cool. Pinless joints. Don't see any pins there. He has no glasses. However, he can wear his, oh yes. It even has a little space behind the ears for it. This might take some figuring. Fun and tired. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this figure is so cool. He's got the glasses there. He's got a Morpher here. He's got these weapons. Okay. So is it worth the extra $10? I don't think so. However, this is a really cool figure. And if you're between paying $50 for the original one and I think like 30 something for this, I am not mad at my choice. I'm glad I got this. This was a great pickup on my part, I think. Like the extra little movement here as well. So this figure is it's a thumbs up here for me. Got these cool energy beams for posing. I've got all of the weapons that you came to expect. So I think that so having opened this, I'm excited for those Power Ranger releases. I'm excited for the Rita Repulsa remastered version. I think I was going to get the Green Ranger Tomy, the old version. I need to see what the new head sculpts have, but I might get that. We'll see. But thumbs up on the remastered. Don't know if it's worth all the extra money, but the figure itself, really cool. So if you need to get that one, you can. It's great. It's awesome. If you can afford it, I'd go for it. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope to see you again soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Go ahead and let us know below in the comments. What have you picked up this week? What were your weekly editions? What do you think about this news? Are you interested in the Power Rangers Turbo stuff? Or are you more interested in that WCW stage? You think we're going to get that Hogan? We're going to find out. And thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.